Hey everybody, it's Glenn Ackerman with Energy Awareness Training, going live for our weekly broadcast and class. Hope you guys all had a great holiday weekend and getting ready for the new year, for New Year's and all that awaits. So we're going to be doing teaching today. Our class is going to be on making lasting change in 2020. Making lasting change in 2020, or in other words, why New Year's resolutions typically fail and don't last, and how you can make whatever resolutions or changes you want this year, how you can make them last, how you can actually pull through and achieve those changes that you want. We're going to be talking about that today. I'm going to give you some great information on that. I want you to say hi to Mia. Mia's in training on how to be a video star. She's kind of shy. Say hi, Mia. Hi, Mia. Say hi. She's so precious. Okay, just giving her she has a little stage fright, so getting her used to being in front of people. And one day she'll be a video star in her own right. All right, let you down. Okay, today's topic: how to make changes. Rapid and lasting changes in 2020. As you can see, I'm coming to you from the jungles of West Hollywood. And yes, of course, this morning I did go get my flowers. These are always the flowers of the week. Yellows and beautiful purple. Look at these. Amazing. Why do I get the flowers? They're high vibrational energy. And you guys know that's what I'm all about here. So we're going to be discussing today how to make lasting changes as people are coming on and welcoming you. Lasting changes and what to do about the New Year's resolution syndrome that we're all aware of that takes place. So I want to give a good hi and a shout out to everybody. And just give you a basic introduction. Those of you who are new to my work, I teach a method called energy awareness training. And it's a training about how to make lasting change, how to change the things inside us that we want to change, how to be able to recover and heal ourselves from the baggage that we've accumulated, and how to basically live a happy life in this world. And that's not an easy thing to do, as you've probably experienced. But if you're energetically aware, then you can navigate this world and basically avoid the traps and the booby traps that there are all around here in this life. And you may have heard Albert Einstein saying everything is energy that we're dealing with. And then Nikola Tesla said, if you really want to understand the mysteries of life, then you'll start to look at everything in life in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So that was a clue for me when I started this work, that if everything's energy, then there's a whole nother level of reality, a whole nother level of information that's available that we're not seeing. And that's absolutely true. You see, most of us live in the third dimensional world, in the world of three dimensions. It's our common world that we live in. What we can, basically see, taste, smell, using our senses. But science says that that there are actually 10 or 12 or more dimensions in life. And if that's the case, then that means we're roughly only seeing about 20%, maybe 30% of what's going on. The rest we can't see. The rest of there's realities and things taking place that are below our ability to spot them. Well, this is what energy awareness training is all about. It's all about being able to rise above those three dimensions and access higher dimensions of consciousness. And when you access higher levels or higher dimensions of consciousness, or you can call it information, you know more, you can see more, you're aware of more. And I illustrate this point so much of the time is that these realities, these dimensions are all around us. And I use the example of the electric light. There's light we can see, there's light we can't see. There's infrared light that we can't see, but it's still around us. There are cell waves around us. We can't see them, but they're having an effect on us. So this is the world of energy. And the breakthrough work here that I was able to do with this is, first off, I was able to make changes in myself. I had things that I wanted to change, habits, memories. Can you change memories? Yeah, well, the effect of things that had happened, the stuff that's going on, the fear, the anxiety, or the worry, or the stress that I lived in. I wanted to know how I could overcome that. And I tried so many different things, wasn't able to do it until I discovered energy and energy awareness training through the research that's taking place now in energy medicine, energy psychology, science of epigenetics. So much of now the latest discoveries about how things work is based upon energy and the discoveries of energy. In fact, a best-selling book that has been a bestseller for like 20 weeks on the New York Times best list is a book called The Body Keeps Score, which is all about how the energies that are inside us, some could say trapped inside us, are having an effect on our lives. The things that have happened to us in the past, even as kids, that it's an actual energy, it's a force that continues to have an effect on us, on our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors, even now into adulthood. It's a fascinating subject, and it's so important now because in this particular time, this is the time of the year where everybody wants to change. And if you, like most people, if you've tried to change, you've had some resistance. And typically when people go into, New Year's and New Year's resolutions, what do? They go, okay, well, I should lose weight, right? I should lose, I got that weight, I got to eat too much during the holidays, or I should stop smoking, or I should eat less, or give up drinking, or whatever it is. There's something that we're doing that the part of us objects to, that we know it's not in our best interest, that we know it's not good for us, but we've let it slide. We've been slacking towards it. Can you relate? Can anybody relate to this? Maybe it's your exercise program, maybe it's your diet, maybe it's your entrepreneurial dreams, whatever. That there's some things as we get headed into a new year that you want to correct. There's some things that you want to implement. There's some better ways that you want to operate, or you want to be more prosperous, or you want to be in better shape. So you have a place where you are now and a place where you want to be. Okay, so let's establish that. You have a place where you are now and you have a place where you want to be. And you're not at that place because, there's a part of you that allow the other part of you to slack, or to get away with it, or to put it off, right? Or to procrastinate. That's so typically of what we do. And so the particular model is, when we're talking about New Year's resolutions and changes, I like that. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna start working out at the gym. I'm gonna stop smoking. I'm gonna cut down or stop smoking pot or booze or whatever your thing is. Now, haven't you tried that before? Isn't that usually what happens with the New Year's resolutions is we all get fired up for New Year's, and it's New Year and can feel the energy and you're excited about the new year. And then you start doing that thing. Let's say you want to start losing weight. Oh, great, I'm going to start losing weight. Okay, well, this might be the umpteenth time you tried it, but hey, you're going to go to the gym, or you're going to cut down on eating or eat a good diet, right? And it happens for a while, doesn't it? That first week or two, you're on your diet, you're going to the gym. That's why gyms are packed. Around January 1st, you go into any health club, man, everybody's in there working off the pounds from the holidays, right? But then what happens? What happens typically is you make progress, you make a little progress there, and then so there's an energy there. I call it an energy, force, behavior, a motivational direction. That's what I call energy. So there's an energy inside you that gives you the inspiration that says, yeah, I'm gonna start that second business. I'm gonna learn that language. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get in super shape. And there's a part of you that you can feel that when you think about doing that, you go, yeah, it's an energy, it's a feeling. It's like, yeah, boy, when I drop this weight, I'm gonna be looking good. Or when I get rid of that bad habit, stop drinking or smoking or whatever, that's gonna be better. So you have an image of who and what you want to be that's different from the way it is now. And you go, yeah, that sounds great. So you start the process of making the changes, right? So you go to the gym, you sign up for the gym, or you stop buying the candy, or you'll take some kind of action to get rolling into that thing that you want to do, right? And you'll make progress, for example. Now, this is where you heard I call my work energy awareness training. Well, here's where the awareness comes in. The awareness comes in that I have an energy or a feeling inside me that wants me to go up, that wants me to be better, that wants me to take care of myself, right? That wants me to make more money, or to have a relationship, or to get in super shape, whatever your thing is. And you can feel that motivation, and it feels good. But a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, there's another force that comes in that doesn't want you to do that, that makes it hard. Your first 2 weeks you're going to the gym or you're eating right, it's a piece of cake. You're determined. But something happens. Have you ever noticed that? Something happens as you continue trying to move towards that goal. There's another energy or force that comes out that wants to resist that wants to block that wants to keep that from happening. So what happens is inside you have these opposing forces. You got one side that wants you to lose the weight or get in shape or be healthier. But you got another part that says, do it later. Work out tomorrow. Go on the diet next week. Not now, later, right? So you've got this tug of war going in. And as time passes, the low vibration energy, the one that doesn't want you to do it, usually wins out. The statistics show that it's over 90% of the people who make New Year's resolutions don't follow through or don't succeed, or usually quit within the first 2 to 6 weeks of that. And I asked myself, well, why does that happen? And the answer that the average person will say will go, gee, you made a New Year's resolution. How's that going? And they're like, it was going good for a while, and then something happened. I got distracted, and now it's going nowhere. Oh, so you either recommit to doing that, or just give up on it until next year, or until the pressure comes. See, motivation comes in either one of two directions. It either comes with possibility of what you could be, or what you could do, or what you could have, or change comes out of pressure, or out of fear, right? When you were in school and you had a term paper to do, when did 90% of the class start their term paper? You had a whole year to do it. When they start it, usually in the last couple of months, and they're usually stressed out. Why? Now, a percentage of people in school that we went to, started working on their term paper, when it was assigned. So they were able to gauge themselves and say, okay, I got to do this term paper. I have this thing due. So let's break it down in chunks where I can do this without stressing myself. Okay, that was the strategy. So if I do it over time, I've got 6 months to do it, and I start doing a little bit, every month, and then really key on the last 3 months, I'll be able to have this thing in, unstressed. And I'm feeling good, it's done, etc. That's the high vibration energy way of doing things. But what do most people do? They put it off. They put it off until the last minute, until the threat of flunking out of school or getting an F or messing up your grade point average is looming so large. You go, okay, I got to focus on this right now. But usually you're under a time pressure, and then you may get your term paper in, as many did. I certainly was one of those. And you get the thing done, but you just stress the heck out of yourself. and maybe put yourself through unnecessary anxiety and worry. So this is the situation that we're in when we're talking about change. The change either comes, if somebody's overweight, for example, you can either change yourself and say, wait, I've got this weight to lose. I want to stay healthy. I want to put in the correction. Or you can wait until, God forbid, you have a health crisis or a challenge, or you have to go to the hospital and the doctor says, you better lose that weight or else it's going to affect your heart, it's going to affect your circulation, or you better lose that weight. Now you got to. Now there's no choice. It's like the pressure's on. So in energy awareness training, what we want to do is we want to find the strategies that work so that we can always be in a high energy and in what I call high vibrational energy. And that energy is free, it's healthy, it's flowing, it's joyful, it's peaceful, it's in control, it's moving in alignment with goodness, with all of the positive powers that be. Okay, that's where we want to be. Unfortunately, there's another part of us I call the law of duality, because if there's a high, there's going to be a low. If there's an up, there's a down. If there's a right, there's a wrong, etc. So you've got another part of you that wants to stress you, that doesn't want you to complete your goals, that wants to throw havoc and chaos and anxiety and stress and worry into the mix, because that's its job. So you've got one energy, the high vibration energy, that wants you to live a happy, peaceful, abundant, blessed life. And you've got another energy that wants to get to sabotage, to resist, to get in the way of your good. And you can feel that in the simple analogy of the motivation to get in shape or to lose weight. You can feel that. These are energies that they work internally, they work externally, but they work internally as well. And they constantly appear. So every day you get an inspiration, to be more, to have more, to aspire. That's a high vibrational energy. But every day you also get, approached by stress, by worry, by doubt, by anxiety, because the process of life in itself is potentially stressful. I mean, we have to go through, paying bills and staying in shape and taking care of the kids and making sure that house is, safe, and the relatives are taken care of, and mom and dad. And I mean, there's so many things in this life that we're dealing with. What about this? What about that? What about this? And ultimately below it all is the energy around it. It's the energy, because go back to the beginning, everything is energy we're dealing with. And as Tesla said, it has a frequency, a vibration, and an energy. Well, in my work, I identify energies as having a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and gives off information. So when you become energetically aware, when you learn how energy works and become aware of the dynamics of how this goes, you start to see the world in a brand new way. And you're able to see things that most people can't see. And you'll be able to notice things and recognize frequencies, force, directions, information that other people can't, because they're not aware of that. And this gives you a major advantage in competition, in business, or especially in relationships. The ability for two people to get along. Wow. Last week I did a video on the dynamics of relationships. And if you saw that video, you recognize that men and women are coming from two different energies. They process differently, they think differently, they have different values, etc. And the ability to have those two energies come together in peace in a sustainable way is a challenge. And we notice that most relationships don't stand the test of time, but they can if you're energetically aware, because no matter what the problem is that you're dealing with, whether it's a relationship problem, whether it's a career problem or a money problem or a health problem, whatever it is, the answer to it is found energetically. If you can't find the answer, obviously, like, how does my relationship get better? How can my, repair my marriage, or, repair my relationship? Maybe it went south somewhere, or there was things that happened. How do you do that? Well, that's answered energetically. How do I get over the upsetting emotions or upbringing or traumas or negative situations that are still affecting me? How do I do that? Well, people try conventional means, and if the conventional means don't work, they're looking for a solution. Where we find it is in the energy. Your health, same thing. You want to stay healthy. If you look for solutions and you haven't found them, then again, look in the energetic levels, because the story you may have heard me tell is identifying the energies of how they work with the Titanic, right? There's hidden energies you can see, there's energies you can't see. And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the energies you couldn't see, right? It wasn't sunk by the energies that you could see. It wasn't sunk what's visible. It was sunk by what's invisible. So we're constantly dealing with hidden energies inside us. And once you become aware of them, they're not hidden anymore. They become, oh, I see what's happening. And this is so important for every man, woman, and child on this planet, because we're living in an energetic world. We're living under energetic laws, under energetic frequencies. And most of us have no idea. We have no idea. And they affect everything that we do. So we're going to be talking today about making the changes that you want to make this year. But you have to be energetically aware, or else you keep going down, a closed loop pattern. And you've heard the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing you've been doing over and over again and think that things are going to change. And you can see they don't. And the reason they don't is because nothing changes until energy moves. You've got to be able to move that energy if you want to make the changes. So we're going to be talking about that. That gives you a little bit of a foundation of this work. So when I'm talking about energy awareness, it's in everything that we're doing. And if you have places in your life where you don't understand, why is this happening to me? Or why isn't this happening to me? Or how do I overcome this? Or how do I deal with that? And you don't know. You've tried, and you've tried to, break this habit or make this behavioral change or do these things, and you haven't been successful. The reason why is because you weren't energetically aware. So we're going to discuss that right now and go into that. Okay, before we do, let me say hi to a few of my friends here who are on board. Wow, a lot of people joining us. Hey, Liz, Carrie, always a pleasure. Ryan, great with you. Greg, my buddy Dave from Florida. Glenn, Gary, Tony, great. Love having you guys. If you guys would write me out just a sign on the chat, just say hi. Every one of you, I'd appreciate it, because that helps me get the broadcast out to more people. So a shout out to say hi. Any questions that you have, anything you want me to cover in this particular class on energy awareness and making the changes that you want to make, feel free to hit me up on the chat, and I'd appreciate it. It helps me get the broadcast out to more people when we do the rebroadcast. All right, so let's go into it right now. So I have a friend that wants to stop drinking. He is a old friend of mine, and I know lives in another state, and I've known him since I was a kid. He's not privy to my work, but I stay friends with him because I've known him since I was a kid. And every time I call him, he wants to stop drinking. And I said, why do you want to stop drinking? And he says, well, it puts me makes me depressed and makes me feel alone, etc. I said, oh, okay. Well, why do you drink in the first place? And he says, well, because I'm alone. Because I live alone, and I don't see people, and I'm on disability, and I'm dealing with this and I'm dealing with that. And I said, oh, so you've tried to stop drinking, and how's that going? Well, I stopped. Let's stop for a month, 2, 3, 4. Then I start again. And then I don't like the way I feel, so I drink more. Okay, so this is an example of someone who, if you just say to them, it's New Year's, stop drinking, that's not going to happen. Or if it does, it's not going to happen for long. Why? Because there are certain emotional needs that behavior gives to us. Okay, so we're going to go deep here. We're going to go deeper in this class here. There are certain emotional needs that he's getting from drinking. Now, all of us do the best that we can, to live our lives. We're doing the best that we can with the information that we have. But no one has really told us how to deal with our emotions. Do you ever notice that? We took classes on algebra and geography and PE and math and stuff, but we never had a class on how to deal with our emotions. And dealing with emotions is one of the most important things a human being can learn how to do, that we weren't trained. And you go, deal with your emotions? What does that mean? Especially if you're a guy, you're like, oh, I don't know, emotions, I don't, it's a girl thing, I don't deal with it. Well, you have to deal with your emotions every day because it's part of living in this human body. And we don't need any training on how to deal with our lives when everything's going great, right? Nobody needs any training then. It's when things aren't going good. It's when we're up against it. It's when we want things to be one way and they turn out to be another. When we want to go in one direction and we're being pulled in the opposite direction. So when our lives go upside down, or when we face adversity, or we face struggle, or we face sudden loss, wow, that's where people become undone. That's when the problems start. That's when trying to navigate feelings, behaviors, emotions, what's happening inside. So typically in my work, when people come to study energy awareness training, to learn about how their energy works, usually they're coming from a place of something got their attention. It's like a lot of people they're going through a breakup, for example, or a divorce. Man, that's pretty heavy, go through something like that. Or you lose somebody that you love. Or maybe you've had a career shift, or maybe you've gotten laid off. So all of a sudden we're in a place where we wouldn't choose to be there if we had the choice. But we ended up here anyway. So how do we deal with that? So with regards to my friend, he could say, okay, this New Year's I'm gonna stop drinking. Okay, is he gonna stop drinking? Probably 90% chance he's not. Why? Because he's getting something out of the thing that he supposedly wants to give up. So it's important for you to recognize that we're dealing with different parts of ourselves. When we say, I did it again. How could I be so stupid? Oh, I fell for it again. Or I made the same mistake. Why did I do that? Well, what part is talking to the other part of saying that I'm stupid, or that I made a mistake, that I blew it again? Have you ever thought about that? You go, oh, how could I be so stupid? Oh, how could I do it? Well, what part is calling the other part stupid? What part is recognizing the other part, right? So if you stop and realize that, wait a minute, what part of me is calling the other part stupid? Does that mean the other part of me that's calling me stupid isn't stupid? Is there a wise part or a dumb part? So that's the first awakening, and that's the first awareness that we come to. What's happening inside us? What are these forces? What are these thoughts that are trying to manipulate us, that are trying to bring us in a certain way? And this is when I talk about the energies, we can classify them as either a high vibration energy, which is an energy of happiness, of joy, of peace, of abundance, of blessing. That's the energies that we want. And we know what that energy does. It expands. All energy expands. All energy creates more of the same. So when you're with happy people, you're in high vibration energy, happy people, what do you get more of? You're at a party and everybody's having fun. You're going to have fun, right? If you're around people who are complaining and whining and depressed, it's not long before you're hanging out with them, and that's starting to rub off on you too. So see, we're being affected by energy every day, every moment of our lives. In fact, not only that, we are sending energetic sending machines and receiving. We're sending and we're receiving. So we're sending out whatever we are vibrating at, whatever frequency we're on. Now that's just a fancy way of saying whatever we're thinking, whatever we're feeling, whatever we're behaving, that's going out into the world, good, bad, or ugly. And whatever we put out comes back to us 200%. I repeat, whatever we put out comes back to us 200%. Now, if you don't know what you're putting out, then you're going to be at a disadvantage because you're not going to be able to see what's coming back into you. You know, if some guy's just like a bull in a china shop and knocking stuff over and, hey, how you doing? You know, some loud guy, and he's not aware, dude, you're having an effect on people, and it's not a good one. Or someone else that you meet who's just a wonderful, loving person, just filled with love. You just love being around them. They're always kind and nice and considerate. Makes you feel good. That energy expands. So this is what I'm talking about with energy awareness training. You can learn more about how the energies works on my website, energyawarennesstraining.com, which I'll post here at the end. But just to be able to relate to this class, I need to give you a few energetic basics. So I have another gal, friend, a student of mine, who came in for wanting to lose weight. And so this year, every year, she makes a New Year's resolution that she wants to lose weight. Great. And she's been doing that, like, I think this is the 15th year, or would have been last year. And so I said, you know, how does that go? Well, you know, I go on the diet and I go to the gym and, you know, I do my thing, and it lasts for 2 or 3 weeks. And then something happens to me, she says. You know, I don't know, I get demotivated. I'm not as motivated to go to the gym or to watch what I'm eating or anything like that. And I end up quitting and I just stop. And then I get frustrated because, you know, here's another time that I blew it and I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. And I end up feeling, you know, bad about myself, and I end up eating more and gaining more weight. So I've actually gained weight from trying to lose weight. Think about that. I gained weight because I'm depressed because I didn't follow through on my New Year's resolution to lose weight. Holy smokes. So if she makes a New Year's resolution here next week or so, she's going to lose weight coming from that place? No way. Why? Because there's a secondary gain. There's a secondary gain to that behavior. And as I probed with her in our sessions, you know, she mentioned to me that there was some abuse in her past, some embarrassment, some body shaming, and some embarrassment, and some possible exploitation or sex abuse, something there. In other words, there was some stuff there. It wasn't clear. And I said, what decision did you make out of this? And she says, well, all I know is when I'm heavy, men tend to leave me alone. Not all, but men tend to leave me alone. And when I'm attractive and when I'm down at my ideal weight, then I get a lot of attention, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay, that's powerful information. Now, knowing that there's a secondary gain, which is inside her hidden energies. Remember I talked about the 10% above the water, 90% below the water, like the iceberg. So the 10% of her says, hey, you know, I'm overweight. I need to lose weight. I want to get in shape. You know, I got to lose 10 pounds, you know, go on a diet or something. That's what the 10% says, right? Well, the 90% says, if you remember what they did to you when you were young, if you get in and lose this weight and become attractive, that may happen to you again. Do you want that to happen to you again? No, you don't. So probably best not for you to lose this weight. So so the 90% of her is saying, hey, unsafe to lose the weight. And the 10% of her says, yeah, I'd like to be better looking. I'd like to lose, some inches. Is she going to lose the weight? No way. Not going to lose it. Why? Because there's a secondary gain there. Now, I mentioned these are the most common problems that people are facing. Usually to stop something. Another guy wanted to stop smoking. Called me about stopping smoking, and I said, we want to come in. Usually, people come in to study energy awareness after they have this issue. So I said to him, can you help me stop smoking? I said, well, I teach a training. I'm not a one and done guy, because whatever your issue is, it's just, that's the gateway for you to awaken. Whenever we have an issue or an adversity that comes our way, when you're energetically aware, you recognize that there's a gift there. There's something that's being brought to you under the disguise of adversity or under the disguise of upset. When adversity or quote tragedy hits, you don't like it. No one does. But unfortunately, in this life, the way it works is it usually takes something like that to awaken us, that we are more than just flesh and bone, that there's more to life than just, going to work, coming home, watching football and then doing it all again, or whatever your equivalent of that is doing. There's a lot more. It's called the awakening. And it's to awaken you that, hey, I got some stuff in my life that I need to shift, and I need to heal. I know that was true for me. And you go, and I need to deal with this because it's bringing me pain. The past memories of anything that's happened to you that you can still feel a little twinge on. If you can feel a twinge in it, you got a memory about something, in your past, and when you think about it, it still gives you a twinge to it. That's still having an effect on you. Let me make this point again. This is so important for you. If this is the first time you're hearing it, I'm glad. But let me tell you, in the latest research of how human beings work and the effect that our past and that our energy has on us, it's recognized that the stuff that we've been through in our lives, the heavy stuff, the stuff that we don't want to think about, the stuff that we wish never happened, that stuff is still affecting us on at least an unconscious, maybe a conscious level, because it's an actual energy. It's like, I don't know if you remember in those James Bond movies, they had this tracker where they had this little device and they put it in the car, and that device would be able to tell them wherever the car went, whether it was being flown away or whether it was driving away. It stuck with them everywhere it went and was relaying information. Well, these things that happened to us in our past that we can still feel is still having an effect on us. And it's going to affect our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, and ultimately our behaviors. And our behaviors, what we do or what we don't do, creates the quality of our lives. The quality of our behaviors, what we do, what we don't do, affects the quality of our lives. So when we say to myself, how did I get here? Or why is this happening to me? Or this isn't what I want. How did this thing show up? You're usually not conscious of that unless you're energetically aware. If you're not energetically aware, you're only seeing in 3 dimensions. And in 3 dimensions, life makes no sense. In 3 dimensions, why things happen, why bad things happen to good people, God forbid, and why suffering takes place, why we had to go through what we had to go through, why me and not them, etc. It's a big mystery, isn't it? But there is a purpose for that. There is a meaning for that. But you can't find it in the 3 dimensions. It involves expanding your consciousness to the higher dimensional possibilities taking place. And this work that I do is not just based on science, it's based on the wisdom traditions, spiritual traditions, it's based on Oriental medicine. It's based on a quantum understanding of life. It's based on, which is the latest understandings of why, you've heard of law of attraction, but law of attraction is scientific. You got a frequency, that frequency is going to attract the same frequency. It's like a radio station. Whatever frequency you're on, that's the radio station you're going to get. So if you want an all news channel and your frequency is on the hip hop channel, you're on the wrong channel, right? And you're not going to be able to get that hip hop from the news channel, etc. So I hope I'm making this point that all of us are walking, living, breathing energy frequencies, energy vibrations. And those vibrations are sustained by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So what we carry around inside us creates the energy. Now, we can be in charge of the energies if we're energetically aware. If we're not energetically aware, we just kind of take what comes. Today I'm happy. Tomorrow I'm depressed. The day after I'm okay. The next time I'm dealing with this. In the third dimensional reality, life is one big yo-yo going up and down and up and down and up and down. And there's no lasting happiness in the third dimensional reality, because we all know this all comes to an end. So even if life's going good to you and it's relatively happy experience, one day it's gonna end. This thing as we know it. So that can bring on anxiety, that can bring on stress, etc. Well, when you're aware in the upper dimensions that you're able to see more, do more, be more, you start to get the answers of why things are happening. And the number one answer of why things are happening to you, the way they're happening to you, is energetic. It's because of the energy you're either putting out consciously or unconsciously to create your reality. I was saying that says life doesn't come to you, it comes from you. So that's why you can see, identical twins born under the same circumstances. One of them is living a happy, healthy, joyful life. And the other one has got challenges, has got stress, has got sorrow, is dealing in a whole nother reality. How can that be, if physically and genetically they're both the same? It happens because each of us has our own energy frequency. And all of us have our own energetic signature. It's our energetic operating system. And that operating system is based upon all the things that we are, that we came into this world with. So we come into this world, this isn't our first time around in this rodeo. So whether it's from a past life that you were involved in, or an ancestor who handed down a karma or an energy, that's in the new science of epigenetics, you can hand that stuff down to people. So sometimes addictions, are handed down, through the grandparents, great-grandparents, the descendants, etc. So we have a lot that we're dealing with in this world. So the turning point comes when we awaken, usually by some kind of stress or trauma or upset, something that rocked our world and made us go, whoa, there's more to life than what I'm experiencing. I want to find out. That's the awakening. And in energy awareness training, we teach that you're here for two reasons: to elevate yourself, to heal and complete your issues, whatever they are, the stuff that you've been dealing with and trying to overcome, sometimes for years. And what you do to be able to move into your full potential self, what you came down here to do. And all of us came down here for a reason. So, and I'm not talking about, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or you believe in religion or you don't believe in religion. It doesn't matter. When we're talking about energy, it doesn't matter whether you're an atheist or whether you're a believer, whatever, because we're talking in the realms of energy. We're talking the realms of fact. It's a fact, a reality that you are a living, breathing, energetic being. You're holding electrical charges inside your body. Your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are driving and are the operating system for what you're doing. That's a fact. No discussion in there. Now, as we start to move in the higher awareness, I start sourcing from the wisdom traditions of some of the wisest people who've ever lived, and including some people who have passed on and come back. That's an amazing, the near-death experience is an amazing source of new clues and information about what happens when we pass, what happens when the lights go out. There are some people who have had their lights go out clinically and have come back. And I know there's some people say, oh, there's some people who poo-poo that, negatively. But, in my own particular studies of near-death experiences, it's pretty convincing when you talk to some, leading surgeons and doctors who are atheists or have no particular viewpoint one or another, who say, this guy, this patient of mine was out, gone, finito, flatline, and he was gone for an hour. And then an hour later, he comes back. All of a sudden, the signs, they reappear. There's no medical reason why that would happen, but it did. And then when he comes back, he's able to give the doctor information of, yeah, I saw you doing this, and I remember, you put the cover over me and you went out to the lounge and you were talking about this and you had this. And the guy's like, how could this guy know? But, this guy's been here the whole time, and the lounge is on the third floor of the building here. So there's information there, if you're interested, that can way expand your consciousness. So this is what I want to mention to you in terms of today's topic, which is how to make lasting changes. Well, the first thing is, if you want, whatever your lasting change is, I'd like you to investigate. Let's say, it's cigarette smoking. You smoke, okay, and you want to quit smoking. Well, is it that because you like the idea of quitting smoking? Or is it you realize that putting carbon monoxide in your lungs, 20 times a day is bad for your health and could have fatal consequences? What's the energy behind it? This is the first thing to make lasting changes. So with my friend who wanted to quit drinking, unless the motivations for drinking go away or solved or are healed, he's not going to quit. And if he does quit, he's not going to stay quit, because the factors that cause us that create our habits are rooted in the way we feel. Okay, if you're taking notes, write this down. Our behaviors and habits are rooted in feelings. And it's the feelings, it's the invisible energy, you can't see feelings, but you can sure feel them, that directs our behavior to whether we're going to succeed at making the changes that we want to make or not succeed in making the changes that you want to make. The gal I was talking about who wanted to lose weight but had a fear that she'd get unwanted attention, that's a fear. That's an energy. And that energy drives what? Her thoughts, her behaviors, and ultimately her outcomes. So she can go to Jenny Craig, she can hire a personal trainer, she can go through all the motions that you need to go through in the quote, lose weight, get in shape, but it won't happen. Somehow they'll find a way to sabotage it because there's a secondary gain that they're getting, or there's something they're preventing from happening. So with the cigarette experience, why do you want to quit? Well, my doctor says, do you really want to? I said, no, I really don't, but I know I need to. So that being the case, there has to be a strong leverage for you to be able to make the changes that you want to make in your life. There has to be leverage. You've got to have a strong what for, so that when the resistance comes, you go, okay, I committed to doing this. I had a friend of mine, we used to go out to dinner all the time, and he loved prime rib. Loved it. Just loved prime rib. Go out, a guy order prime rib all the time. And then I went out with him a couple of times, and he said, I really shouldn't be ordering this prime rib because my doctor says it, might be bad for my heart, but I'm going to indulge a little bit. I said, okay. And then it was a year later, and we go out to dinner, and the guy says, yeah, I'll have the fish. I look at him, and I said, fish? I never heard you order fish. You're a prime rib guy. I said, aren't you going to have the prime rib? He goes, nope, not going to have it. Not going to have it. I said, wow, you're emphatic about that. Why is that? He said, my doctor said if I keep eating prime rib, I won't last another 2 years. He said, he made it that clear. He goes, you keep eating prime rib, you got 2 years left. Wow, that got his attention. Now, the year before, he was interested, right? He was interested. I know I shouldn't. I'll make an exception. A year later, he's committed. Now, there's no two ways about it. No more prime rib. Bump, bump. That's it. Bump, bump. Firm, strong, committed. No more prime rib. Why? Because the leverage that was on the other side was too great. He wasn't willing to enjoy a moment of pleasure for risking his life, according to his doctor, that said that was bad for his heart. Okay, so what am I saying to you? First off, when you want to make changes, check the energy around it. Are you serious about it, or are you interested? It's like bacon and eggs. The chicken's interested, the pig's committed, right? And change only comes when there's absolute commitment. Anything less than full-on commitment, it's not going to happen. It's like when people say, come to the meeting or come to the party, tomorrow night. And they go, oh, well, I'll try to make it. Oh, okay. Are they going to show? Not going to show. Why? Because there's no commitment there. They're interested. They like to come. Maybe if it's not raining or if there's nothing on TV or, if have my nails done, then maybe I'll come. But when somebody says to you, I will be there 100%, no two ways about it. I am there, count on it 100%. Even if somebody says that to you, it's still maybe people still no show. You ever thought about, God, the guy said he was going to be here. Why isn't he there? Something came up. Okay. Well, when you want to make change, nothing can come up. That change has to be first and foremost in your awareness every single day. Whatever it is, either to stop doing something or to start doing something. So the second aspect of this, are you interested or are you committed? If you're interested, it ain't going to happen. If you're 100% committed to making this thing happen, to making the change that you need to make, then you have a shot at it. Not guaranteed, but you have a shot at it. Okay. Now, what do you do if you're 100% guaranteed that you want to do that? All right. First off, again, you make sure that there's no secondary gain. So somebody else I know, they need to lose 50 pounds. 50 pounds is a lot of weight. 50 pounds is a lot of weight. And I talked to him, hey, have you tried before? Yeah, I tried before. I'll try again this year. This will be my 20th year of a New Year's resolutions. And I said, why do you think you can't lose the weight? And he says, because I love late night pizza and ice cream. Late at night, when I go home, right, I like to watch TV and I like to eat pizza and drink ice, have a gallon, big half gallon of ice cream before I go to bed. So he goes, there's no doubt about why I'm fat, and why I got this weight to lose. This is what I do. And I said, well, if you know that behavior is keeping you from having what you want, why are you doing it? Right? I'm asking a logical question. I'm asking a linear question. And what's the answer? Why do I do it? It feels good. Well, are there other ways to feel good? I don't know. That's the way that I've chosen at this point. So For him to make a New Year's resolution that he's going to lose the weight while he still keeps the pizza and ice cream habit going on is ludicrous. That's not going to happen. So what happens is energetically, we got to move beyond just, not eating the pizza or the ice cream. One solution could be, well, if I padlock the refrigerator, then he can't get the ice cream, and if I padlock the oven, then he can't make the pizza. Or if I take his phone away, he can't order pizza. Yeah, you could do that, but that's not going to work because you're not dealing with the root cause. You're just dealing with the circumstances. You're just dealing with the 10% level. The real change comes at the 90% level. And the 90% level comes when you go, okay, what are these feelings that the ice cream and the pizza make you feel? What are the feelings that you're trying to avoid? See, it's not the feelings that gives him, it's what does that behavior help you avoid? That's a whole nother way of looking at it. It's like, well, when I eat the pizza and late night, I don't have to think about that I'm alone. I don't think about that I'm not in a relationship, or I don't have to think about that I'm not having sex, or I'm not going to think about, the pain of my last breakup. Okay? That's a good reason. That's a real good reason why. But that particular method of dealing with that is low vibration energy, which means it's going to bring on more stress, more chaos. Rather than that, since you're aware of what these feelings are, wouldn't it be better to deal with them, release the feelings, release the low vibration energy that you have around, your current situation, so you can do something about it. See, the catch-22 is, well, when I lose weight and get in shape, then I'll go looking for a relationship, or I'll go and date, or I'll get out social. But I can't do it now because I don't like the way I look. Well, you don't like the way you look because you're overweight. Why are you overweight? Because you eat pizza and ice cream before you go to bed every night. So it's like the catch-22. This is why it's so important to be able to deal with the energy around what you want to change. The energy, that's what moves it. Remember I said nothing changes until energy moves. Is this making sense, you guys? Okay, I'm at a good point here. If this makes sense to you, then give me a shout out on the chat if you got any questions. If it doesn't make sense to you, let me know too, to be able to continue. Because this is what awareness comes. Why the definition of insanity is doing the same crazy thing over and over again. And the whole definition of New Year's resolutions, everybody knows they're made to be broken. Well, if we can get out of the New Year's resolution thing, I'm kind of showing you today how that works. That it's pretty much pie in the sky. But if you want to make lasting changes, here's what's going to happen. And that's what I do in my work. I help people make lasting changes. And why I'm successful is because this is how I do it. I identify what the energy is around the things that they don't want, and identify the energies around what they do want, and see how they work. Because you can't have, in one space, you can't have high vibration energy and low vibration energy operating in the same place. One of them is going to be the dominant energy. And by default, it's going to be the low vibration energy. That's the way it's set up. Our default mechanisms are vulnerable. We're vulnerable to negativity. We're vulnerable to low vibration, anxious, worry thoughts. It just comes. Where does it come from? It just comes. But if we're energetically aware and we take back our energy, we learn how this works, and we learn how to constantly, every day, dissolve the low vibration energy and realign ourselves in a high vibration energy frequency. That's where all the happiness is. That makes you bulletproof against the forces of evil or negativity that try to attack every single person every single day with negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative emotions. So our purpose in energy awareness training is to create energetic freedom, the ability to work and to attain a state where you can be and joyful and free and in control and in alignment, no matter what you're dealing with in life, no matter what you're dealing with. That's called imperturbability or bulletproof or energetic freedom. That's possible, but it's not easy. Just like, if you're out of shape, getting in shape's not easy, or learning a language you've never spoken before. It isn't easy, but it's doable. And for those of you who are really seriously committed to self-development and personal development and evolving your consciousness and going to the next level, this is the work that takes you to that place. And it unhinges all the low vibration energy saboteurs, so to speak, that are trying to pull you out of that place. Is this making sense to you guys? Please let me know if it is, and I will continue. So as you become aware of the feelings around something that you want to change, it's important to recognize that you need support. Whatever we're going to do when we're going to make a change, we need support, right? We don't do it on our own. When you're going to go to school, you don't stay home and teach yourself. You go to a school where you get teachers and other students, and you can work with people to get smarter. Or even if you stay home, at least you're getting support from mom and dad or wherever your tutor is, right? If you want to do a sport, you don't do it alone. And even if it's a solitary sport like tennis or track or something where there's no team, you still have a coach. You still have a place where you train. You still have an environment that supports you to be successful. When it comes to quitting drinking, okay? Most people try to quit drinking on their own, don't succeed. Some do, most don't. Why? Because it's tough. You're dealing with, you're using one part of yourself to try to heal and change the other part of yourself. So you've got these two, the tug of war going on. This is why it's important for you to get support on whatever it is that you want to change. When somebody's getting off drugs, do they do it on their own? No. Some try to, but most of them relapse. What do? You get into a support place where there are people who can help you, guide you, coach you, lead you to be able to make those changes. And you want to stay out of the environments that keep that old behavior going. So for people, kicking drugs, going back to the old, drug den or dealer or the parties where that stuff was done doesn't support you. It supports you not making the change. So this is important, when we're talking about resolutions. It's not enough for you to just say, okay, I want that. That's the first step. The second step, knowing about the energy, any secondary gain that brings you, and making a decision, being committed to it, not being interested. If you're just interested, we're all interested. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody's interested in being rich. That's why people buy lotto tickets. But the ones who get rich or successful in whatever your chosen endeavor, whether it's money or sports or art or whatever it is, these are the people that recognize there's certain things you have to do to succeed. And they kept doing them over and over again. And they had a support structure that would help them utilize their goal. Now, that's one of the things that I do. Not only do I teach energy awareness, but I do one-on-one coaching and training and group coaching. So I keep the environments of people who are interested in doing this with other people, because whenever you're going to make change, remember, there's going to be an energy that wants you to improve, but there's also going to be an energy that wants you to quit, that wants you to get distracted, that wants you to postpone it. And this is that internal tug of war we're all dealing with. Can you guys relate? How many of you guys listen to me are going through an internal tug of war right now? Let me see. Put down on the chat, whatever your tug of war is going on. I think we can relate to that. So the third part of this is the ability to put yourself in an environment that supports you. If you want to quit smoking, don't be hanging around smokers, right? If you want to quit drinking, don't be hanging around drinking, right? If you want to be in shape, don't hang around people who are eating ice cream and pizza, late at night. Because the activities, the energy is going to rub off on you. Okay, it makes sense? Pretty straightforward. But support is very important. And being in an environment or getting coached, put a plug in for getting coached, Having a coach is one of the greatest things you can do to improve your life, because you've got another person supporting you. You've got another person who knows, who's outside of your own mind. See, it's so difficult to coach ourselves, because part of us are giving ourselves the coaching that we want, and there's another part of us that are giving us the coaching that we don't want. So it says, do this, no, don't do this, do this, no, this. But when you're working with someone, they can be able to be objective and just tell the truth about it. And that's the important thing. One of the other thing we're talking about, to tell the truth about stuff. In this time of year, it's so important to tell the truth. Hey, let's go over these things. How's your health program? Good, bad, or ugly? How's your exercise? Good, bad, or ugly? How's your diet? How's your consciousness in eating? Good, bad, or ugly? How's your stress levels, your anxiety levels? High or low? These are all the things that we have to deal with. How's our earning power? How we feel about our money? Where we're going financially? Good, bad, or ugly? All of these things are parts of life that we have to deal with every day. And there's energy around all of them. So if you like the way you feel, that's great. But more often than not, we don't like the way we feel. If I talk to somebody about money, how's your money? Are you happy with it? You got all your bills paid? Are you out of debt? Are you putting money away? Are you saving for a new house? Do you have so much money you don't know what to do with it? Most people go, oh, you think about money. Oh, I'm thinking about, no, I'm thinking about paying this, paying that, and I got to get this together, and it's New Year, and it's the end of the month. And, if you're stressed about anything, you're going to bring that stress into the situation. If I'm in a relationship with someone, and I look at that relationship as being stressed, it stresses me out, and I wish I wasn't in it, and how do I get out of it? What am I going to bring to that? And I say to myself, oh, I want to improve my relationship this year. No way can that happen. Not if I'm vibrating that low vibration energy around it. Same thing with money. You want to have more money, prosperous? Absolutely, it's available. But if you got an energy around it that's trying to pull you down and away from that, it's not likely going to happen, and you're not likely going to make the changes. So this is a real eye-opener when it comes to change. Change isn't just something that I'm going to change, and it's changed. Oh, you just made the decision and you changed. No, there's resistance. There's a process to how people change and to how people improve. And most people don't change, or find it very difficult to change, because it takes focus, it takes commitment, it takes dedication, it takes persistence, because you're overcoming a behavior pattern that you've locked in hundreds of times in your nervous system, in your energy system, and that's going to have to be changed. And by and large, we need help to do that. So the last thing I want to give you on lasting change is this: if you're going to change something, and you're committed to doing that, I recommend that after every event that you do that helps you make that change, that you reward yourself. So let's say you got a workout scheduled at 5. Okay. Now it's interesting that, we have a workout schedule at 5, and at 4:30, something comes in, you get a phone call from somebody, or somebody's in town, or somebody needs you to work later. It's amazing. Watch the circumstances when you commit to doing something that take place that get in the way or interfere with that thing that you want to do. It's almost like clockwork. The thing that you've committed to doing, something gets in the way of it. Oh, what a coincidence. Okay, well, I'll do it tomorrow. No, today. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. No. So understand, these two energies are working inside you. The high vibration energy wants you to get it done, wants you to take that workout, or skip that cigarette, or go eat fresh and eat healthy, or make more of an effort to be a good relationship. All of those things, there's an energy that wants you to do that. but there's an energy that doesn't want you to do that. And that energy is just as active as the one that does. And that's why change is so difficult. That's why when people who do personal development, read personal development books, seminars, trainings, etc., by and large, 97% of the people within 90 days will go looking for another book, right? Or another seminar or another thing, because they're chasing I call it chasing the 10%. You're chasing the 10% that wants to make change without looking at the 90% of where the true change takes place. True change takes place in the 90%. And it has to come, and it's not something that's frivolous. You know, when you go to learn how to fly an airplane, you know, you're not frivolous. Well, maybe I'll learn, maybe I won't. No, maybe I got it down, maybe I don't. They're meticulous. They're fanatics to make sure that you learn your lessons and you do what you need to do. Because if you don't do that and you fly up there without not knowing what you're doing, even if you think you know what you're doing, you could have problems. And that's how JFK Jr. died. He was a pilot for, I think he had his pilot's license for 5-10 years, private pilot, but he was still an amateur, and he flew his wife and his sister-in-law from New York to Hyannisport, Massachusetts, and he got into a condition that he had never been in before, and he got hit with literally an energy that took the plane and put it into a nosedive, and they crashed, and the rest is history. That's how important it is. Some of these decisions that we make about our own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, some of them affect everything. They affect the quality of our lives. Some of them are life and death. So this is why you want to be energetically aware and understand how changes is made. And I'll just go over that last point. Whenever you have to do something that you don't want to do, or that takes effort, or that takes discipline, I recommend that you give yourself a little reward for doing it. So if going to the gym is kind of a hassle for you, after you go to the gym, take yourself out to dinner, or buy some ice cream, low fat, of course, right? Or do something that is a reward. So there's an end game to what you're doing. The mind has to have an end game for it to result. You know, if you can't see the end game, it's like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't. No, there's got to be an immediate pleasure gratification to acknowledge it. Just like you have pets, you know, Fido sit up, he gets a treat. Fido, fetch the ball. Fetch the ball, he gets the treat. It's the same thing with our nervous and energy systems too. They have to be led. They're almost like a separate person, a separate entity inside us, something that we have to learn how to have a relationship with, how to deal with. And it's absolutely true. We do need to learn. We need to learn how to deal with our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and the different parts of ourselves that want to pull us in directions, some of them that we don't want to go into. Okay? All right, I'm just going to check here for any questions or any feedback before we wrap it up here. Dave, we are live. Dave Zilberman, we are live. Okay. Can I join for a few minutes? Talk about this more in the context of EAT experience. Right. So any questions you have, Ryan, if you had a question or you want to say something, write it on the chat. Share about it. Hey, you guys, glad you're here. Yeah, great. Appreciate you being with me. All right, Albert's joined. Great. If you guys, again, with just a question or a shout out or just a hey, Glenn on the chat, I'd appreciate it. All right, so let's wrap up here what we talked about today. We've talked about the ability to make change, to make lasting change. We're all aware of the New Year's resolution trap, which is make a resolution and have it last for 2 or 3 weeks or a month and then have it go away. We went over what makes lasting change. And we also went over why people don't change, why there's a part of us that wants to change, but there's a part of us that doesn't want to change. It's that iceberg analogy I gave you. The 10% wants to make the change, but lasting change doesn't come unless it's in the 90% realm. And that change that we're going to make is we're going to be thinking differently. We're going to be feeling differently. We're going to be behaving differently than what we did before. That's the only way it's going to work out. It's not just forcing yourself to do something for a little while, because that doesn't work. If you want to make lasting change, even if it's about, eating better or losing weight or being a nicer person, it's going to take thinking like that. It's going to take feeling like that. It's going to take behaving like that. So this is the ability to tell the truth of anything that you want to change up. What are you getting out of it? And how can, like the guy with the ice cream and the pizza, he's getting something out of it. As long as he's getting something out of it on some level, he's not going to make the change. So as long as you're getting something out of the behavior that you want to change, even if it's low vibration energy, unless you change the way you think about it, the way you feel about it, the way you behave about it, it's not going to change. Okay, so you have to make sure that there's no secondary gain around that. And third off, are you committed to it? Are you interested? If you're just interested, maybe hold off, because it's better to hold off than to say you're going to do something and go all in on something and then not to do it. That's a disappointment. And that's what the low vibration energy uses to beat you up with it. It's going to say, here's another New Year's Day. Here's another New Year's resolution that you're not going to keep. Come on, who are you kidding? You're full of it. You hear that voice inside your head, because that was true for the past years when you weren't energetically aware, when you didn't know how these things work inside your head. But now you do. So recognizing the difference between interest and commitment. And then once you're committed to that, that we want to use the methods and the techniques that I teach you to be energetically aware and to be able to let go of the feelings, anything around that doesn't feel good. So, for example, I had a guy who wants to make more money. So this year I want to make more money. Great. Well, that's totally possible, right? And probable. So what's the problem? Well, have you made a New Year's resolution for this before? Yeah. And what happened? Nothing happened. Okay. Why do you think? Well, I don't know. Usually you say, I don't know. But when I start digging, I uncover a belief that says, well, if I'm going to make more money, that means I'm going to have to work more. And I'm already working 50 hours a week. And it's going to interfere with my family and my free time. And so more money in his brain equates to giving up. It equates to having less. It equates to some form of pain. Now, is he going to make more money? He's going to make a New Year's resolution. I'm going to make more money this year. Is that going to happen for him in that place that he's in? No way. Not going to happen. Because the 10% says, yeah, I'd like more money. But the 90% is saying, yeah, but you're going to have to work, and it's going to take time away from your family, and you're not going to be able to work out, and you're going to this. Right? So this is called energy awareness, being aware of how these forces work inside you. And they all work through your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your behaviors. So second off, or let's see, number 3. So that was the third. Fourth one is to put yourself into an environment that supports you. So whatever it is that you want to be, do or have, hang out with people who are doing that and stay away from people who aren't doing that. Right? Pretty clear? I also mentioned getting a coach or getting a support system where you can check in and you have accountability. That's the one thing I didn't mention. You've got to have accountability when you want to make change. You've got to have somebody outside of your own head that you can say, yeah, I went to the gym today, or yeah, I've lost 5 pounds this week. Somebody that can support you on that. And if you want information on how I can do that, go ahead and PM me. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. I have a couple of openings in my schedule coming up, I think, after the 1st. Okay, so get support, get coached. And lastly, reward yourself for everything that takes discipline for you to do. Anything that you don't want to do or that you feel that resistance, give yourself a little reward for it, whatever it makes you happy. Let's say you go to the gym. Okay, great. Maybe you watch your favorite TV show that night, or give yourself a piece of chocolate or something that's just a little thing, but it is a reward for getting you over the hump. What this is ultimately is training your energy to be able to deal with resistance. And that's the most primary thing that we can do. Because all of life is resistance. We got resistance everywhere to all kinds of stuff. And if you're energetically aware, you know how to let go of the resistance, right? You let go of making it tough for yourself. You go through these principles that I just mentioned, and you set yourself up to win. That's what you want to do. Set yourself up to win. Most people doing the New Year's resolution thing set themselves up to lose. I'll make a resolution and maybe I'll get to it, maybe I won't. Hey, that's a loser for sure. You set yourself up energetically, have a support system, getting coached, reward yourself, know what you're doing, making sure that you're in alignment. You have no secondary gain for the habit you're trying to quit. You're good to go here, and you're in energetic alignment. Okay? All right, that's what I want to tell you guys today. Appreciate you being with me on energy awareness. I'm going to put my site here for those of you we got a lot of new people on the call here. Welcome. Again, this is Glenn Ackerman teaching energy awareness training. I do this every weekend, and I have videos. I have a video channel on YouTube that goes more into this. I have a website, and you can communicate to me here on Facebook through Facebook Messenger with any questions regarding energy awareness training or coaching, or how to really have a strong 2020. I'll just leave you with this last thought. The most powerful thing you can do to make a big change in your life in 2020 is to learn energy awareness, to learn how you tick inside, how these forces work with you, how your thoughts, your emotions, your energies work. What energies are they connected to? It's fascinating, and it connects to everything. Everything that we're doing is an energetic exchange. We're having one right now. It's an energetic exchange with your family, with work, with your health, with the world. And when you know how these energies work, you can see them coming. You can see the good ones coming, but you can also see the bad ones coming when they appear in whatever form they come. And when you're aware of those things, life gets so much better, and you're able to be in that happy, healthy frequency all the time, no matter what's challenging you outside. So I encourage you, check me out, check out the website. I'll put it down here after we close. And I'll just scan for any last questions. Cool. I think we're good. All right, you guys. So listen, have a happy, healthy, and safe new year. And I recommend that you start the process now. Don't wait until January 2nd. Start doing your personal inventory right now of looking back at 2019. What are the things that empowered you this year? What are the things that made you feel good? What are the wins you had? Focus on the wins first. Focus on what's good first, on what you like, on what is empowering. Focus on that, and then look at, okay, where can I make the improvement? What do I need to, where do I want to be in 2020? And I think it's a week-long process, not something you just do in a day. You're kind of, we're shifting energy patterns. This is a whole nother class, but just real quick, we're going into a new energy. We're writing out the energy of the new year, of the old year, and we're going to go into a new energy cycle here, on the calendar year within the next week. So take this time for don't stay busy. Take some time, because this is your life. What do you want? What do you want to do? What didn't you do this year that you wanted to do? How can you make sure that you get it done next year? And if you go through the list that I gave you, you'll be able to make that happen, and make it happen in a rapid way. So I'm wishing you the best, most prosperous, most healthy, most happy, successful new year possible. And I'm going to continue with the classes. We're going to expand energy awareness training. We've got lots of new things coming out, so can't wait to share this all with you. Again, I'm on all the social medias. Feel free to contact me with any questions, and I'll put the website down here in a second that you can check out if you're new to my work. All right, it's Glenn Ackerman sending you love and blessings from the jungles of West Hollywood. Have a great day. Bye for now. I know I'm still on. I know you can still see me. I'm just putting the website. If you're new to my work and this is the first video you've seen, check me out. It's my website. Be happy to give you more information. All right, bye for now.